Welcome to Missing Conversations, the podcast about growing groups into teams. I'm your host, Lynette Winter, and my co-host today is Dan Winter of Altus Growth Partners. Our guest today is Bill Bidal. Bill is the Executive Director of the Greater Albuquerque Habitat for Humanity. He's been with Habitat for Humanity since 2020. Habitat builds homes and provides home preservation and critical home repairs for lower to low middle income homeowners. A core part of the mission is to break the cycle of poverty for those who are served. Habitat for Humanity includes resources focused on home construction, home repair, fundraising, marketing, volunteer services, mortgage services, and a retail store that resells contributed home goods and hardware goods to raise money to help build and repair homes. The organization sells homes they build with a 0% mortgage and affordable monthly payments to people who are responsible, hardworking, and help build their own homes with sweat equity. Bill, welcome to the Missing Conversations podcast.
Thank you, Lynette and Dan, for asking me to be here. I'm honored.
Thank you. So, we'd love to start the conversation with what brought you to this work. Tell us a little bit about your journey.
Started in 2010, 2011. I had been living in Europe working on an assignment for my longtime employer. And I came back to the United States. And as I re-entered the workplace, I came across some new colleagues who had been doing some volunteer work for Habitat for Humanity in our community. And one of them invited me out to spend a day working in construction type situation on a new home. And so I went out and I met all of these great people that were doing this good work. And I met a family who was going to be living in the home once it was finished. And I got the bug. 10 years later, after I decided to retire from a long time career type opportunity, the company that I worked for many years offered a program for new retirees called the Encore Fellowship Program, which basically would support in our community either 6 months or a year of basically consulting support for a nonprofit organization of my choice. This was early in the COVID era, if you will. If you remember 2020 is when COVID came upon us. There was a lot of different concerns in the environment with respect to being able to do work on a volunteer basis. But since I had worked with Habitat before, and since I had known some of the folks back in the day, I thought that that might be an interesting place to start talking to people. So luck be it, the individual who was the executive director at the time was also an Encore fellow after he retired from his long-term career. So we hit it off. We found common ground pretty easily. One thing led to another, and I ended up going to work for them in this consulting type of role. Worked there doing that work for about a year, and it became obvious that I really was enjoying it and I was making a difference. So basically stepped into an operations director role for the organization and went full time. About a year ago, a little bit less than a year ago, I became the executive director.
Mm-hmm.